1.12. Part 1.
Where did your family originate from?
My mom's side of the family is from what is now Croatia. When she was born, it was in between Italy and Yugoslavia. And my dad's side of the family is from Italy.
Why did you start researching your family tree?
The reason that I started researching was because I have two older sisters, and they're both 10 and 11 years older than me. So growing up, I actually never met my dad's parents, my grandparents on my father's side. And my grandparents on my mother's side were very old, and luckily my grandmother lived until she was 100, but I didn't really get to know my grandfather that well. So just out of curiosity, I was just trying to understand my immediate family, my grandparents, and in talking to my mom and talking to my father, just kind of learning that they themselves led very interesting kind of journeys over here. And the more that I went to look into it, the more interesting the stories became to me.
When you start researching, what's the first step, the first thing you do?
The first thing that I do when researching, or the first thing that I did when I started researching, for me, it was very organic, and I just started talking to my parents. And then they started talking, or they introduced me to family that I had met when I was a child, but I had talked to my cousin who's a judge in Italy, or my cousin in the Bronx who knows my dad's side of the family. So that was kind of my immediate. And then I started to branch out from there using Ancestry.com or, different resources, even just going to the public library and seeing if I could dig up documents that way.
In practical terms, how important is the internet in researching family history?
Yeah, and I think the internet obviously is extremely important. I mean, it just makes finding information and being able to look at so many different resources so much easier. Something that would take probably months or a year, you could probably do in a few days or a few weeks online. And just the communities of people that you can be introduced to that have done similar things to you, I think that's a huge benefit as well. So you could start talking to people who give you advice, just going to message boards and seeing what people have done in the past. And a lot of times, hurdles that you might come across, they have already solved them for you. They have hints for you about how to get past them. So I think that's, to me, has been the biggest help.
How far back have you been able to trace your family?
I've been able to go back as about 4 generations with my family. I'm still searching and still talking with some family members in Italy about what information they know, and trying to use local offices there to see if I can get marriage licenses and birth certificates of my grandparents and their parents. But it's the further back you go, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So I'm at about 4 generations now.